I am Nicole, the Divine Oracle. How is the weather where you're at right now? I'm in Virginia and we have had snow all day. So, interesting. I came across a speaker, a mentor. He's a mentor to a lot of people. He is a motivational speaker. Um, and I found his stuff very interesting. He came up with I don't know if you would call it a network, a channel, but um, it's called Growth Day Motivational. His name is Brendan Burchard, and no affiliation with him, but uh, came across him on TV and just wow, just impressed by what he says and just how he comes across. Hi, Crystal. It's good to see you this evening. Hope you're staying warm. Um, but what I found was amazing is that the stuff that he talks about is just about everyday life and how we can be better people, especially if we're entrepreneurs, um, and just in about our life in general and what you can do to achieve greatness in your life. Yes, we work on ourselves and we do what we can to heal ourselves, but that's just a portion and a part of what we need to do to accomplish to get the life that we're looking for, the life that we're striving for. And the big thing, what I took away is setting clear boundaries. And that's setting boundaries not only for yourself, but it's setting them for your work, your career, your family, just your life in general, and not being the yes person, the people pleaser, the one that, you're like, yeah, I might have like 10 things on my plate right now, but you know what? Let me go ahead and take what you need to get accomplished and let me go ahead and add that to my plate and I'll try to get that done as soon as possible. And that doesn't work well in a life if you're a people pleaser and you're one that is always saying yes to everything and not putting out those clear boundaries of no. No, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. I have this list. I have these other priorities that I've already scheduled out weeks or months in advance, and I'm sorry that your need for he said it in a more diplomatic way. Um, but for me, it's just like, I'm sorry, I can't fulfill your need at this moment to do something for you. I'm gonna have to say no because I have a lot of stuff to do. But I wish you well, and good luck on your endeavors. Good luck on the project. Um, it's setting clear boundaries like that is going to be huge in your life, and it's huge even when it comes to family. Even if you have kids, I have kids. Mine are older now, but even when they were growing up, there are times I had to say no. No, I can't do that right. No, I can't stop what I'm doing to help you out right now. It's not convenient for me. We can set a time aside where I have time and I can help you. We can come on that together, and you know and then work out a plan, but I can't stop what I'm doing at this moment to fulfill your need. And that's setting a healthy boundary. That is setting a healthy boundary. It is you taking more self respect and putting yourself ahead of others' needs because you're number one in your life. And if you're exhausted, if you know that you're taking on too much, you don't have time to talk to your friends, you don't have time to call one of your relatives, a sibling or whatever. If you don't have time to work on a hobby that you've been wanting to work on because you've been saying yes to so many other things, so many distractions, so much drama from other people. And that can bring discouragement, right? Not only to you, but to others around you. But it brings discouragement upon yourself. What do we have? Oh, hey, Aaron. Thank you. Yeah, it does. It looks gorgeous. Hi, Earl. And it's Nate. Hi. It's just I know in my own life personally, I have taken a step back from a lot of people that have been in my life. Um, I know I've done it, me personally, especially recently over the last 3 to 4 months. I've had to take a step back from people, from doing things or going places because I'm on a healing journey, as a psychic medium, I'm healing just as everybody else is. I still go through stuff. I still have to deal with things just like everybody else does. But I'm also taking that opportunity to look at myself, and if something triggers me, I'm like, "Why is that triggering me?" And I'm taking that time to look at it. But I'm also putting up clear boundaries of things I will and will not accept in my life, behaviors. It's just I know what my values and my morals are, and I know what I will and will not accept from anybody, not even from myself. You know, I set myself to a standard. It's belief, believing in yourself, knowing that you are enough and that those times where you feel like you may not be enough, like you just might be just holidays can do that. I know around the holiday season, this time of the year can be very chaotic, especially if people don't have money to spend or, you know, not everybody can spend, $50 or $100 on presents for every single person that's in their life. I know me personally. My mom had asked me, we doing gifts this year, and and I chuckled, and she asked me why I was chuckling, and I said, what can I get? My mom's 80. What can I possibly get you that you don't already have? And she laughed. She's like, that's true. That is so true. And I said, we buy each other stuff. I buy myself stuff. I buy, you know, my spouse stuff. I buy my mom, stuff throughout the year. And why do we all need to just cram so much money into one day when that one day is about love? It's about connecting. It's about God, right? It's about just appreciating who you have around you, the time you get to spend with them. Gifts are nice, but they're not necessary. The true connection that you can form with somebody outside of gifts, that is precious. That's undeniable. And yeah, I mean, presents are always nice to give and to get, but it's not the main reason for Christmas. The main reason for Christmas is to come together, is to put down those differences and be together in a room where, You're just putting down everything and just loving each other. We all have different paths, and sometimes we just need to put that aside and just come together. But then I'm not saying okay, I'm not saying that you can do that with everybody, because I know for a fact that you can't. I've got people in my family that I don't speak to, nor will I ever speak to because of the way that they've treated me. And I've said no. I put up a healthy boundary. I'm not going to allow them to treat me the way that they've treated me. I'm not going to allow them to walk all over me. Their attitude doesn't change. The way that they talk about me doesn't change. So why should I allow that into my life, especially during a season of love? Those are boundaries. Those are things that I will not put up with or that I will endure to please somebody else, to make them feel good or make them happy. Ultimately is your choice and your decision and who you spend your time with, who you give your connections to, who you give your energy to, because that's huge, right? You don't want to just be giving your energy to people that are negative all the time, that don't value you, don't value the words that you say, don't value your time and or your energy or all. Those are the people that you don't want to spend time with, and nor should you. If they're not adding to your life, then they need to be let go. You need to save yourself, because when you save yourself, you're also saving them too. Don't be afraid to ask for help. One thing one thing he did say, and it's so true, there was never a war won by with one person. One person can't win a war. It takes a village. It takes many people to come together. If you try to do something on your own, more or less likely it's not going to succeed because you need help. You need a, it's just out there. You need other people's energy and help to get you going. You think about it. You're like, "Oh no, I don't. I can do it on my own." I mean, who does your books for you? You might do your books, you have accountant. That's somebody helping you. Do you have somebody read your emails? Does AI do you have your email set up for automatic responses? That's something helping you. But it also comes with people. Um, you know, you might be doing great at, giving, I don't know, doing Zoom mentoring or Zoom whatever. Might be an influencer, but you might need an idea. So you could ask a couple of your friends or people that you trust, do you have any ideas or what would you suggest? And then you take that information and you can incorporate it into whatever you're doing. But that is a form of help. Hmm. Just getting stuck in I'm hearing a lot of things right now and I'm trying to sort them out. Trying to sort that out. A lot of energies. Um, I just heard the word heartbreak. I don't know if somebody's going through heartbreak right now, if somebody feels heartbroken. Could be somebody that has passed over, that has crossed recently, or that you're just thinking of someone. I just keep hearing mending, like you're taking time. It takes time to mend your wings. It takes time to mend. But then I'm just told to reiterate, and not everybody believes it. And, everybody has their own opinion and their own thought or feeling, but you may not see your loved ones. You may not see your pets or your animals that have crossed over, your friends, a coworker that you may have been close to. You may not see them, but they're there. If you've ever have you ever been just a normal day, right? You're going through your day and all of a sudden somebody's like a name pops into your head and just out of the blue you're like, why would that person pop into my head? I haven't thought about that person in X amount of time or, whatever your circumstance is. It's because that person, if they're crossed over, they're with you and they're trying to get your attention because they have something they want to share, or they're just giving their love and support saying, hey, I've got your back. Just know that I'm here if you need to talk to me. You can say my name. I'm going to be here listening. If it's somebody that is still here physically on the earthly plane here, if a name just ran, that person is thinking about you. They're taking a lot of time and energy putting into thoughts of you, that it is trickling and spiraling through the cosmos and coming right into you, letting you know that, hey, this person's thinking about you. You can, take that and do whatever you want because, that's free will. You can just take it and say, okay, thank you. I appreciate that, but I don't want that. And then you let it go. Or that could be an inspiration like, wow, you know what? I've been meaning to reach out to that person or, however that flows for you. And then maybe that's your opportunity to reach out. It's going to be something different for everybody. I just heard snow-capped mountains, snow-capped mountains. And I'm being drawn to the dripping icicles. Something is fluid. And then look who we have coming in. I love this. I love this yard. I love my land. I love that Mother Nature brings in the beautiful creatures that she has put on this earth. The beautiful ladies that are in front of me right now, they're going to have to dig a little bit. I put a lot of corn down, but I'm not sure. You're going to have to dig a little bit, ladies. Yeah, hi, girls. I put the corn down. You're just going to have to dig a little bit. The snow came in unexpected. You're right, girls. Yeah, you stomping at me. All right, I'll quit looking at you in your eyes. But yeah, Maybe that was a sign that somebody needed her confirmation. They're like, "Oh, she's talking too much." Maybe deer are significant for you. They're here every day. I love the girls and then the boys that come through, but they know they're safe here. Oh, and then we've got one of the big guys coming in. Let's see if I can zoom in. Look at him. He's so majestic. I don't know if you saw that big boy, but they know. No harm will come to them on this property. Just read what you wrote, Crystal, and I instantly got chills going up my legs. I feel with that for me was you you definitely had to stand your ground. You had to stand your ground in allowing your heart to speak louder than the judgment. And I'm also getting that you've had to teach. You've had to teach them kindness, and more reverence and less judgment. I'm hearing that this was a huge stepping stone. I heard the word, it was a huge break. But when I'm saying break, it's it's like a break, it's a release. I'm feeling a release. It's like a euphoric release. It's like it's it's a breathing, like you can breathe again through such despair that it brought fresh air, fresh communication, fresh perspectives. Oh, I'm gonna put the phone down. My hands are getting a little cold. I know I was shaking it. Um, a fresh perspective. And I also feel that you've learned new perspectives because as we grow and we all grow differently because we all have different paths, but learning to put the judgments aside and coming together for the sanctity of love, that is a beautiful thing. Allowing things to just be given to God and to the universe and let all those petty differences, those the little things that would once get under your skin no longer because you've grown so much, you've gotten stronger in who you are. And I just I'm just smiling because it's just like everything is just so beautiful. It's just a beautiful like a flower, just you've blossomed so much. And I keep getting like 4 or 5, so I don't know if like in the past 4 to 5 years, if it's 4 to 5 months. I'm getting like 4 to 5 years, but maybe the 4 to 5 months, it's just been I don't know, it's just more electric is what I'm getting. It's been very electric. It's been almost like an integral stimulation. Your mind is just been in such I just keep getting like pleasure. Your mind's in pleasure. You're growing, but you're loving all this evolving that you're doing, this learning, this grasping, this these different little nuances that have been coming up. Ah, so sorry. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I got snow everywhere now. Dang. Hopefully I can do this without turning it off because the Samsung hit the snow. Parkour. All right, hold that phone. Man. All right, I think I just zoomed in. I don't know what I did. I don't know how to unzoom. Okay, phone's kind of stuck because it's cold and wet. Bad me. All right, let's see. Here we go. Uh-oh. Phone's freaking out. Phone is no, stop. Okay. Sorry about that. Another from earlier, I was talking about belief and believing in yourself, in what you want to achieve. What is what are you setting for yourself? In one of his, in his speaking, he was talking about ceilings. And I'm like, ceilings? He's talking about people need to put ceilings or have ceilings in their life. Meaning, like if you're an entrepreneur, um, and you're setting, or even if you're not an entrepreneur and you're setting a goal for yourself, what you want to achieve, and you're setting this goal, you have to have a ceiling. Like, where will you be happiest? You say, okay, if I make $80,000 a year, I've met my goal, and that's where I want to go to achieve. I want to make at least $80,000, and then you get to the $80,000. That's your ceiling. So from there, now you've met what you wanted to do. So now that gives you more opportunity to enjoy your family, your friends, your hobbies, the things that you were putting off to do. You've been doing it slowly here and there, but your main focus was what you wanted to achieve without the drama, without the distractions. And if you go through life without having a ceiling, you're constantly going and you will burn yourself out. And one thing you don't want to do when you're healing is burn yourself out. And as people, we're healing every day. Even if it's the best day of our life, you're healing because you added so much more joy and happiness into your life, more peace, whatever it was, that inspiration. That's a healing day. If it's a bad day, that's still a healing day because you've processed, you've learned stuff that you needed to learn, an emotion, a feeling, a fear, a worry. You looked at it, you worked with it, and then you let it go so you can move on to the next thing and not have that be a distraction to keep you from achieving your goal. Even if that goal is to have being more spiritual or working with crystals, working and learning the names and I'm just using an example. Say you're getting big into crystals and you want to work with them. Well, the best thing to do is not only start building up your collection, right? Now you want to set your ceiling like, I want to know, I want to learn, let's say, you put just a cap on and you say, in 1 year, I want to know, be able to work with, be able to just feel that energy of that crystal, know what it means, how to work with it, and be able to give that advice and that knowledge to other people, right? Or even if it's just for yourself. You say within, we'll say a year. Say within a year you want to learn 100 crystals, because God knows there's enough out there. You want to learn 100 crystals. That's your ceiling. And when you learn those, and after a year and you test yourself and you just know you got it, you grasped everything. Okay, what do you want to do now? Do you want to learn about more crystals, or do you want to add something else into that mix? You set your ceiling, you set your bar to where you wanted to achieve. Now you've reached that achievement. Celebrate first off, celebrate your accomplishment, celebrate what you did. And then if you go back and think, wow, I didn't know any of this a year ago, be proud of yourself. And during that whole time when you're doing it, that is belief. That is believing in yourself, trusting yourself, and giving yourself the courage and the accolades and the affirmations that you need to keep going and striving and moving forward every day. But that is what I mean about putting a ceiling. You're putting like a cap. Yes, you can go above that, but you've met it. So, you can relax a little bit and do something different, add to it, or go take that trip that you've been wanting to go do. You've been putting that off for a year because you've been focusing on doing something, a project or whatever. Now it's time to celebrate. Take that trip you wanted to take. Spend more time with your family. Go book yourself a retreat somewhere by yourself. Only you know your life and what would work for you. Celebrate yourself every step of the way. Yeah, I jump around because I'm human and I'm trying to keep up with what they're saying, what's coming through, and who needs to hear what. I have a lot of spirits around me. I have a lot of spirits that are on this land that I'm on. Something about showcase. Somebody needs to showcase something, or somebody is gonna showcase. I just heard the word showcase. Maybe you need to start showcasing your talents, or somebody's thinking about it, how to go about to bring them more recognition. If you're looking, all I can say is, you are your best investigator. You have all the tools around you to research, to investigate what you need. You know, I like, for me, when before I started doing tarot, because to be honest with you, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do tarot. Um, when I was younger, especially in my early 20s, yeah, I went and got psychic medium readings. I went and got tarot readings done. I find it interesting. I was huge into astrology, love astrology. I love, I just love how us as people, as star seeds, how we, how the planets work in us, we work in the planets. It's just, it's, how what our birth charts say about us. I mean, they tell us everything we need to know. Your birth chart tells you everything you know about you. And when the planets are changing every day or moving, retrograding, um, moon, sun cycles. So it's every day your birth chart goes with a planetary alignment and it lets you know things you should be more aware of, how things might affect you during cycles of the planets. Because, if a planet trines another planet, it's going to act this way. If it's just there's a lot in astrology, um, but how they work with you and how you work with the energies is going to be based up, on how you choose to go about that. All I can say. But your birth chart, it's very easy to pull it up. I use Astro Matrix. Astro Matrix, I will never say enough. I'm not affiliated with them, but I've used Astro Matrix for at least 8 years now. I think it's been longer. I think it's been, I want to say since 2011. So it's definitely, so we're going on 14 years. Okay. So, and me learning about myself, like I know myself, right? And like there's parts I'm like, I know myself. But then I started reading, I'm like, dang, like this really knows me. And this tells me what I need to be aware of, like what things can trigger me, about my life path. Things that, are some careers that it even tells you about the careers that you would probably be really good in based on your birth chart. Um, Things that you should focus on, things that could set you back, just to let you know that these are things that are, in your happening, could possibly happen in your life or are happening in your life right now. Take note, take heed. And what are you going to do with that information? We're giving you the tools. How are you going to utilize them? I mean, it even tells you about, challenges that you're going to face, especially if, you're in a relationship or just work in a work environment. You learn, I don't know, I don't even know if I'm even explaining it right, if it's making sense. But yeah, you can have somebody do a report for you, but I'm telling you, it's very simple. It's free. You can do it for free yourself, and you can download the app. I mean, it's an app for your phone or your computer, whatever, and you can download that stuff. I paid for it because I want to know. I go in depth, so I paid for it, and you can chart out. You can do your birth chart. You can do different types of charts. Your house chart. Like if you watch tarot readers and other channelers or whatever, and they might bring in like your fourth house or your second house. If you should go look at that, and it's all in there. It's all in your birth chart. It lets you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Um, that's always a good thing to know, especially as we're healing. And it was a great, fabulous, I can't say enough. It was a fabulous tool in helping me heal. I know my traumas. I know what I was put through, but Seeing it in black and white on paper, um, and then allowing it to just sink in really helped me with my healing process. Because I was really able to go and get down deep, cry if I needed to cry, scream into a pillow if I needed to. Um, work my throat chakra, talk it out, talk, 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 write it out if I needed to write it. I'm a writer. I'm a channeler, so I'm always writing. Too many notebooks. I mean, I should probably take stock in a notebook company because all I do is write. Um, but getting it out, working the throat chakra, working your heart chakra, getting the emotions out, the feelings out, the feeling of releasing trauma, releasing good emotions, releasing bad emotions. Journals should not just be about what you need to change or the negative aspects or negative things that are going on in your life. A journal is journaling everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the positive, the inconsistencies, the questions. You write a question down. Just sit there, close your eyes, ask spirit, ask your angels, ask God, whomever that you talk to, the creator, Buddha, excuse me, whomever that you talk to, write your question down, close your eyes, just repeat that question. I get the number 3. So maybe you need to repeat that question 3 times and just sit with it. Keep your eyes closed, allow your mind to just go blank. Allow your mind to go blank. See what pops in. You're going to have your answer. Angels are always talking. Your blood ancestors are always talking to you. Question is, are you open to receive it? Are you telling them, I am open to receive your messages? Please, I'm asking for your help. They come through. They will give you the guidance, the answers that you need. It just takes patience. You can ask for signs. I know my dad leaves me money all the time. He likes leaving me uh, change on the floor, especially if I have a question and I'm needing an answer, and I have it set up with him. If it's a yes or no, he will leave me a certain denomination of a coin if it's a yes, and another denomination of a coin if it's a no. They'll just show up. It's amazing. It's like, where did that even come from? It just there's money on my floor. There was no money on my floor. But that's how my dad answers me. That's the connection I've made with him since he crossed over in spirit. It took time, took a lot of time because I had to heal myself from the grief of losing my best friend. I had to wait for divine timing when he felt that it was the right time for him to come to me and allow me to see him, allow me to communicate with him freely. Because he had to make sure that I was healed in my heart, that if I was to see him, that if I was to hear his voice, because yes, I could hear his voice because I'm an audio sentient. And he had to make sure that I wasn't going to break down. That because the moment if I was to start crying, boom, everything would close on me. he had to make sure that I was strong enough to hear his words, to hear his messages, for him to leave things for me for communication. And to be honest with you, that took 4 years. Took 4 years. For me, that was 4 long, painful years because I've been a psychic medium since I remember being 2 years old, being able to see my ancestors, being able to talk and communicate with my ancestors, hear spirits around me, and actually see them dancing in my bedroom when I was 13 years old, hearing music. And I thought people were outside my house. I could just hear the music. And then I go outside, nobody's there, and I come back in, I'm closing my eyes, and I just hear ballroom music. And then in my mind's eye, I can see people dancing. And for a split second, I open my eyes, and because I knew it so much, I could see them dancing in my room. Now, as a 13-year-old, that was a little off-putting at that time because these were spirits. These weren't my ancestors. My ancestors, great grandparents, great grandparents, that all crossed over, people from eras, different realms coming through. Those angels, those I got used to seeing. But when people started showing themselves to me that I didn't know, different spirits that I was not familiar with, that was off putting at first. And for a little while, I know for a fact I closed myself down because it was a little scary. And then I had to listen and have everybody tell me that, not my family, but my angels, my ancestors let me know that not to be scared. They're here giving you messages. Now, the message that was coming through for that time with the people and the dancing, come to find out, like decades later, that was about the time that my mom and dad were out dancing. They were at doing, I don't know if it was country line dancing or something. I don't know. I just remember they were out dancing. And it was showing me my parents dancing along with other people that were there. Healing is a process, but you have to be open if you want to be open to receive messages. We all have the ability. It's just turning off that noise, allowing yourself to have silence, allowing there to be silence around you, to be open. I know I love being in the spiritual side so much that sometimes it's hard for me to even want to be here in this reality because I channel so much. I love talking with spirits. I love working with my angels, with the ascended masters, with Isis. And crazy thing is like I don't have I believe in God, yes. I believe in Jesus, yes. But I also believe in the knowings of other religions. I don't have a set religion. I feel to be truly all encompassing of a spiritual person, a spiritual being, a psychic medium, my own thought and opinion, is that you have to be open to other religions. You have to be open to other ideals, other gods, goddesses, deities. This is a world, right? Different faiths, different religions. Nobody's wrong in what they believe and what their faith is. Nobody's wrong. That is just, I don't know. I feel it's like a construct if you just have, like, you're just limiting yourself if you just only want to believe in one thing and not, instead of realizing that there's a culmination of so many. I mean, if you watch different tarot readers and different, I don't know, spiritual people, everybody's got their own, their own faith, and that's fine. I'm not knocking anybody, believe me, I'm not. Um, no judgment here. Just me personally, I'm all encompassing because I've gone to an Indian temple and I fell in love. Listening, I mean, the vibrations from the moment I walked through those doors and stepped on their sacred floor with my bare feet, respecting their house, the energy, the vibrations, my body was shaking inside. The vibrations were just amazing. I could feel it from the bottom of my feet coming out my fingertips. And I said, yep, this is it. There isn't just one house for me to have faith in. I believe in the Indian faith. I believe in the Muslim faith. I believe in the Christianity, Baptist, Lutheran, Catholic, Christian, Buddhism, Taoism. There's just so many countries, so many religions, so many faiths, but they're all for one main source: love, creation, for peace. So, not limiting is beneficial for me. New perspectives, new ways of seeing things, and keeping an open mind. I will never bash a person of what religion that they choose or faith. No, just always, I would hope no one would bash me for me saying that I encompass them all. Hmm. No one religion is better than another. We're all the same. We are all the same. We are all equal. But this went to like a little tangent. They're just throwing me all over the place. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope for a better tomorrow. I guess that's confirmation. The wind chimes just went off because they've been pretty quiet until I just said that. Hope for a better tomorrow. Is there anything else? Just keep believing in yourself, knowing that whatever you set your heart and your soul to achieve, you can do it. Just don't let other people's drama or distractions weigh you down because somebody else's drama becomes your drama and then you become the drama. And who wants to become the drama? When he said that, I was like, huh, that is interesting. If there's drama, someone's bringing you the drama or wants to give you the drama. Now you're the drama. Who wants that? I don't want the drama. I don't want to be the drama. But that's like all you see out there, right? There is just so much going on in these day and ages that sometimes it can be discouraging if you're on a healing path or you're trying to do the right thing and you've got those that are trying to step in your way, or it can be discouraging, but your dreams have to be bigger than the drama. Your dreams have to be bigger than the discouragement and the distractions. Because if those are greater than your dreams don't come to fruition. So I'll say his name again. If you haven't heard of him or haven't seen him, um, his name is Brendan Burchard, and he did is doing came up with the growth. I think it's called Growth Day. I don't even know now. I think it's Growth Day. He's amazing. He's an amazing speaker, motivational speaker. And I was only on for like an hour, but it was very enlightening. The amount of information that I got out of that, and I just wish everybody would. I just wish every person, especially teenagers, 20-year-olds, even everybody. I say if you're like 16 and over, you should be like listening to his stuff because he's on point. I mean, it would change society. It would change the way that we view our lives and how um, social media can be a crazy distraction. Now, I only use YouTube. I don't do like Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or who's its or what's its and all these other apps. And God knows there's probably like 1,000 or more of these social media things, but I only do the YouTube. But he was talking about, like, I guess, people just can scroll for hours and hours. just through Facebook, and you think about it, like, every time you're scrolling is judgment, like, you're judging something, you're judging yourself, you're judging the person, it's judgment, or it's comparison, you're comparing the person, comparing the product, it's comparing, right? So, if people are doing that every day, hours upon hours a day, just say if you're doing it just 1 hour a day, just constantly scrolling, that's a distraction. That's taking you away from living up to your potential. That's taken away from you doing a hobby. That's taken away from you doing actual healing. That's taking away from you investing in you to get a fix, to just scroll and then get discouraged, right? Because one, I remember I was on Facebook way back when it started. I don't think I wasn't on when it started. I don't think I got onto it till it was like 2009 or 2010. I think it was after my dad passed away. Um, and I was, and I wasn't on there for very long. When I say very long, I think I was on there maybe a year. I want to say maybe a year. I think I might have given it a full year, to be honest with you. And I felt it. Like, I could see everybody was trying to outdo another person. Everybody was trying to make their lives like they were perfect. Like, "Yeah, this we did this today, and I'm doing this today," or they're giving shots of every single thing that they ate, and people are judging them. They judge themselves if they're not uploading, if they're not, doing a foodie blog, um, or they're comparing themselves to other content creators like, "Oh, they did this way, I must do it this way, in order for me to get more views or more likes." And all that does is it defeats you as a person because now you're judging yourself, you're criticizing yourself, you're doing all the what ifs and the woe is me's, and or you're getting mad at people that technically, if you weren't on there, you wouldn't even be mad. You'd be going about your day like it was a good day, you know? But you stopped, you got on one of those social media apps, and something upset you, discouraged you, or made you feel jealous or judgmental, and then boom, now you're on a cycle. Now you're not feeling good. Now you're pissed off, and now you snap at somebody. Or you have a new perspective, you look at something, you look at yourself from a different perspective, not of a great perspective, because now you're looking down on yourself. Now you're picking yourself apart because of something that you saw on something on an app or a person or something. Those distractions bring drama to your life. Those distractions defeat your dream. And 1 hour a day for 7 days. You think about that. 1 hour a day is what, 7 hours, right? So in 1 week, you've lost 7 hours of doing something that you could have been doing to work on yourself, working on a project, spending more time with your family, your friends, your animals, spending more time on yourself, taking that bath that you've been wanting to take. Go work out at the gym or go take that swim in the pool that you've been meaning to do. But those 7 hours, now you take that 7 hours in that week, do it for a month. It's like 28 days, right? Or 28 hours. Is that right? Yeah. 28 hours you just taken away from yourself in 1 month. 28 hours. That's insane. If you think about it, if you break down the mathematics. Now put that out for a year. That's like that's like 4 or 5 months of your life that you just wasted scrolling for an hour. 4 to 5 months of wasted time that you could have invested in yourself, a project, or another person, family, whatever. Only you know your life. But isn't that crazy? 1 hour of scrolling on Facebook or Instagram where you're judging, criticizing, making comparisons. In 1 year, you just wasted 4 to 5 months of your life. 4 and 5 months that you can't get back. But then the next day you go back and then you're back on there an hour just scrolling. Nothing that's really of any pertinence. It's just something to distract you, something to take you away from focusing on what you need to focus on because that's what society is trying to ingrain. They make, if you look at YouTube, I mean, even here on YouTube, if you're making a short, 3 seconds, that's how much time they say that's how much time they say they were stupid. They're saying you're stupid. You only get 3 seconds because that's all you can afford to pay attention for is 3 seconds. So to me, that's saying you're stupid. They're calling us stupid. You don't have enough brain power to take in anything more than 3 seconds or 15 seconds. Sorry, 15 seconds. I think there is a 3 seconds in there, but 15 seconds because of TikTok, because of these apps that are dumbing down kids because they're making their attention span less and less and less. So basically, it's a control, right? Controlling your mind so you don't grasp as much. You don't allow as much to process or to bring into your, for you to hold on to grasp. What is, what, I mean, that's crazy. But, it's probably true because I know I've done videos and I've seen videos and sometimes people don't even get past like the first 2 to 4 minutes. Then they're out. And it's like, really? Attention span's gotten that low? I mean, I understand if it doesn't resonate with you and you leave, but that is the generations that we're bringing up. Put less time into something, put less time into yourself. So they do these small little 15-second videos, 20-second videos, whatever they are. And then you just keep flipping and scrolling to the next one and the next one and the next one. Next thing you know, you've wasted an hour of 15-second videos. They're, I don't know. It's like they're trying to dumb everybody down. It's like nobody wants to make the effort or put the effort in. I know we're more than that. That's why I'm not on those things because I'm more than that. I'm more than I put myself above scrolling hours on end. I have my couple of videos that I will watch, some people that I will see. If it's something that will pop out at to me, or that's it. But I don't scroll on my phone. I've got more important things to do. More, my life's too important for that, I guess. And I hope your life is that important to you as well. I mean, if you actually think about it, and you think about these kids, they're on their phone for hours on end. scrolling, doing, I mean, if it's one thing if you're, if that is your life, like your job, you're putting things online because that's what you do, you're a content creator. That's one thing, right? That's one thing. But if you're just mindlessly just wasting time because you're bored, why are you bored? What could you be doing to make yourself not be so bored? You could be spending some time focusing some time on yourself, healing. You could be spending time with your family or friends, animals. You could be spending time on a hobby or a goal that you want to achieve instead of hours and hours on end scrolling at mindless, stupid BS, just dumb stuff. There is so much dumb crap out there. These stupid challenges that they're doing to people, being rude, being bully. I mean, they're being bullies. I came across a video. Now she's somebody that I follow, and that one it the one video really caught my attention, and that had to do with how the young adults are bullying people now. Now, back when I was growing up, when you were bullying someone, they were doing it to your face. They were in your face bullying you, or they're saying stuff behind your back, but you knew what was going on because it was around you, right? It was 3D. It was around you. You knew what was going on. Then the internet came, and then back in I think it was, I don't know if it was the 80s or 90s, they came out with a movie, um, had to do with cyber cyberbullying. Now, that changed a lot of people's lives because it showed you the in-depth of what cyberbullying does to people. It can make people commit suicide. It can bring out destructive behaviors. People will self-harm. People will actually, it could be that one quiet person that someone's bullying, and that one quiet person is going to show up with a G, and he's going to bang somebody away, or just randomly just go somewhere and just causing chaos on other people because they got bullied. When that movie came out, when that was shown, that changed a whole generation, right? They stopped. There was less cyber bullying online. And then all of a sudden, social media started getting bigger. All these different apps started coming out. Then the bullying started taking a different course. Not only was and now we're hitting a different generation because, heaven forbid should we put a movie like that out there again for every generation to see moving forward that you shouldn't do this. Not only is it not good for you or for the person that you're bullying, but it's also not good for you. There's consequences. You may not understand it, but that's when karma comes into play. That's when the universe speaks up and say, "You know what? Excuse my language, but you've been an asshole this whole time. Guess what? Now your ass is going to get whooped. And we're going to show you everything that you've been doing is going to come back to you. It may not be in the same form, it may not be by the same people. It will definitely take a different shape, but it's coming back. It may not hit you in the next year, it may take 20 years. But as my witness, it will come back to you. Kids don't understand that these days. These generations don't understand that growing up. They think now that they can put somebody on a camera, put their face or video, whatever it is, on the internet, blasting somebody just to get other people to make comments about that person, to bash that person, criticize that person, basically bully that person. Why? What is the gratification? Do you feel better about yourself? I don't think you do. And if you do, then you are one narcissist. If you think making people feel bad about themselves or you thinking that you're better than them and you're trying to point out whether you don't like the way their nose looks, you don't like the clothes that they're wearing, you don't like the way that their hair is, the color, you don't like them having tattoos, whatever, all the piercings, you're not a fan, or you don't like that they're with a certain person and you're going to put them on blast and you don't think that's going to come back and get you? You don't think that that might actually get taken far enough where you could actually probably get a lawsuit put against you? There are laws against cyberbullying. That's a crime. But yet, they play through social media on TikTok and some of these other apps where they think it's okay. And what does society do? They laugh. They get into the war, they start judging, they start throwing their comments, they start making fun of the same person that the bully was making fun of. And all that does is make you a bully now. Now you're adding your comments, you're having your 2 cents, your 2 or 3 words. Now you're a bully. Does that make you feel better? Because I'm gonna tell you, everything that you just said about somebody that you do not know, you don't know their heart, you don't know what life they're living, you don't know their circumstances, and you're gonna throw shade on them? That's gonna come back and bite you, and it's gonna bite hard. Because when karma comes around, it's not just once or twice, it comes back tenfold. 10 times the pain that you put out is 10 times the pain you're gonna get back in. That is the truth. So, if you're not aware, I'm gonna bring it to your attention that this new thing that they're doing now as a new cyberbullying is, I guess, that they would go up to a random person, a stranger, and they will say, "Hey, we're trying to record a video here. Could you record us?" They're doing a dance or whatever they're doing. Who knows? And so, person saying, "Yeah, no problem." They'll take time out of their schedule. They'll be genuine and kind, and they'll hold the phone and record your video for you. And then you do your thing, and then they take the phone away from the person and then turn the phone on to them and then start laughing at that person and making fun of them for being nice and kind, for helping them out, for doing something that they didn't have to do. They could have said no, but they didn't. And now they're going to be made fun of as being the nice person. And then people come online and they criticize that person for the way they look, for their clothes, for their teeth, whatever. Just being mean, being a bully. That's ridiculous. And how is that okay? How is that allowed? We're supposed to be able to protect. How can you protect your kids? What if your kid is put in that situation? That is a new bully. I mean, they're doing it to adults. Why wouldn't they do it to a teenager? So then you're going to go through another spiral with your kid because that's another type of bullying. It's like there's never an end. When is the bullying going to end? When are people going to stop being jerks? When are people going to take accountability for themselves and not have to be assholes to other people? Sorry for the language, but it's the truth. People need to get out of their own some people need to get out of their own freaking way just to get a view or a like or a comment. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. How are we in the United States in a country in a melting pot of people are supposed to love and accept and appreciate your next door neighbor, appreciate the person next to you if they're doing shit like that online, and that's okay and that's acceptable. How are we supposed to come together as a country if we still have all these young whippersnappers or these young kids, these young adults who are being rude and putting all this horrible stuff online? How are we supposed to come together as a country? How are we supposed to help the next generation coming up? How do we help the elderly generation if we got people always cutting people down and criticizing them online? It's like, come on. Oh, let it go, let it go. But it's the truth. It's ridiculous. The internet is to help uplift, bring people together, and it's just like it's a division. Why does it have to be such a big divide? The internet was brought so people could communicate with each other, get connections, reconnect, learn about things, and then it turned into being this war of good and evil, of light and dark, and it seems to be more dark than light. Because the dark seems to take precedence. That seems what gets all the likes. That's what seems to get all the views. Is if you're mean, you're rude, you're crude, you're vulgar, you're promiscuous, you're showing more skin, you're letting everything hang out, you get the views, you get the likes. You're in the dark. But if you're bringing positivity and light and it's like it doesn't seem to go very far. Where's the balance? Where's the balance? Where's all these internet cops? Where's all these cyber people that say they're watching out for protection, that people are protected online? But yet they're just showing that we aren't protected online. There's more and more hacks being done everywhere on internet sites and businesses or whatever. We're not safe. There's always a vulnerability because there's always a gray area. Nothing's ever black and white. There's always the gray area. There's always a vulnerability, or I should say, not a vulnerability, a variable. Why did vulnerability come through? There's always a vulnerability that needed to come through, but there's always a variable. In the gray, there's multiple variables. Black and white, it's this or this. But in this world, there is no black and white. We live in a gray world because there's light, dark, and there's the balance of both. So it was people say, oh, it's just a black and white situation or circumstance. No, it's not. No, because there's many variables. There's never a black and white circumstance or position that you're put in. There's variables to that position. So no, we live in a gray. We live in gray. We live in gray. We have the light, we have the dark, and we have the gray. We have the balance. You have to be in balance. Oh my gosh, I've been on here for an hour 24. Holy mackerel. Yeah, it's still cold. It's still snowing. Yeah, it's supposed to snow, I think, until tomorrow. I might get a reprieve. We'll see if the governor calls. Uh, I don't know. Yeah. So it started off with one thing for channeling and totally took a separate route. So many variables. Uh, oh man. But yeah, I don't even know what I'm gonna name this. A reading of variables. Maybe I'll just name it that. Because you just don't know which way this reading is gonna turn. I didn't know where it was gonna go. I sat down and they gave me stuff. I was writing stuff on my notebook. Like I started writing stuff down and then it just took a turn. I'm like, well, they have me say what I need to say because somebody needs to hear what I need to say. Somebody needs to hear something specific at some point, I guess. Or maybe all of it. I don't know. Only you know. But yeah, let's see. Can you see the snow? There you see it's very slow. It's that pretty snow. It's that snow you like that I always like seeing on Christmas morning. Like you wake up, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Look at all the snow falling. And you know you don't have to go anywhere. You just get to enjoy the day just watching all the pretty snow fall. Oh, and then we've got, I don't know if you can see it up there, got the moon. Oh, that was weird. But oh, there it is. There's the moon through the tree. Yep. But yeah, maybe I'll just end it here. Keep believing in yourself. Don't let people's drama, distractions, chaos stop you from your dreams, what you want to do from your life. And, and pay attention to how many hours a day that you're just scrolling through. And just think of all those hours that you could be investing in yourself, in family, in something other than that instant gratification of just judgment and comparison. Because that's what scrolling is, judgment and comparison. But yep, thank you for hanging with me. You may not feel the cold as I'm sitting out here in it, but it is chilly. I think it's like I think it's about, I think last time I looked it was like 26 degrees right now. 26 degrees. Let's just say I am bundled in layers. I look like the Michelin. What is it? The Michelin tire? That big old, reminds me of like the big old marshmallow from Ghostbusters. But the Michelin man is that looks, I don't know, looks like a big old marshmallow. That's all I can think of. Yeah, I got so many layers. Look like a big old marshmallow. But hey, nature has me outside. I have to be outside. I like to be outside. But I think because we're at 129.54, I think I'm going to leave it here. And I thank you for stopping in, saying hi. Thank you all for your highs and hellos. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time and your energy and spending it with me. And yeah, this reading went a little bit everywhere. I thought it was just going to be going down one road, and they're like, nope, we've got a we've got a road over here. You need to go down this secret path over here. We might come over to this junction over here. Let's just see where this all goes." So I went where they were leading me, and I'm going to leave it there. So thank you all for coming in and spending time with me. Have a great night and stay warm. Alrighty? All right. Bye.